Reading this broccoli stuff with some Thai papaya salad. We'll see how that is. And I'm going to review this book really quick. And then we'll see if James has something to talk about.
You read it pretty quickly, hey? You just
Yeah,
go through
well, these
a book
things,
a day or something.
yeah, these things are easy. So, I didn't write my comments in it. But
Usually
anyway.
she's very good at that.
Yeah,
so
I do
she
that
gives
right
you a much more organized review than I'd ever do.
I mean, I don't do that in library books that I borrow.
No,
I don't
no.
write in library.
Please don't
But
write in library
this
books.
is a discard, and it was sitting on my shelf forever. It's called Hunted by the Others, and it was okay. I don't know.
So don't go hunting for this book on a shelf of a library.
I mean, it's a heroic sort of woman who she's a detective, and she ends up. This is an alternate world where there's vampires and all sorts of things around, and pretty much everyone knows about it. I don't know, but.
Women running around with a gun in each hand.
Yes, well, she wasn't like that at all.
Okay.
And so then, what happened in the story is she's hired to get this thing, get this thing from this vampire. It's in his possession, but he's not supposed to have it. Anyway, so she's got to get this thing. And then he ends up, he's a scary guy. He's a vampire, and so he scares her into signing this contract saying that they're legally allowed to kill, he's legally allowed to kill her if he wants to or whatever. Yeah, and so the people she's working with, they word or whatever the contract, they're able to say, okay, well, it can go both ways, so you can kill him too. So they get her all geared up with they have a supernatural sort of belt for her, and that's pretty interesting. And then they give her,
I can see something of a belt there.
Yeah, and they give her.
She's got a crucifix, right?
Well, she had that to begin with.
She had that to begin with, okay.
But it doesn't matter. Anyway, they give her some special, like, it's tooth-proof and
tooth-proof.
Yeah.
That's good. Even vampire tooth.
Yes,
yeah.
And werewolf claw-proof body armor.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of
pretty impressive.
And do you want this one that I got the thing off of already, or do you want the other one?
Yeah, I'll take the other one.
They're pretty much the same, and you should be able to pull it off.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, I wouldn't really recommend going out of your way to read that thing.
Check out the cover, though. It's kind of exciting.
Well, these kind of hand-drawn covers in this genre are kind of interesting. So the basil leaves or whatever that are, I can't even tell, honestly. They're past their prime in there, so we'll see how the rest of this stuff is. But
well, I mean, what can go wrong with a herb? I mean,
well,
it's not too many
you can
bugs
eat it if you want. I'm
okay,
not.
Sure. Okay, I'll eat it.
And we'll see if the rest of the stuff's okay. I got this from the given to me today from the Salvation Army Furniture Depot. Or, well, it's not the Furniture Depot anymore. They have it set up at the church.
Right at the church?
Yeah.
Just around the corner.
There we go. And, yeah.
So we talked a bit more about that book maybe than what you bargained for.
Well, yeah, it wasn't really worth talking about.
I just kind of like the cover. I mean, it looked like maybe a comic book artist did it. Is that what you're figuring?
Yeah. Yeah, I like
comic book art. I gotta
hand-drawn covers in this genre. So, what are you going to talk about, James?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about Dina Hinshaw and how she should resign from the human race. No, from her job, which is it's a political job. So, So, she's our top doctor. You know, she's our top doctor. And she's got a crucifix. 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 And she's I don't know if it's politically correct to say witch doctor anymore, but she's awful. She's a fake doctor.
Well,
She's-
there's a lot of doctors that are they've bought their, they bought in, their parents were doctors or whatever, and they're in the system.
Well, she's in the political system.
Yeah,
and
that's even worse.
she's an apologist for Jason Kenney. Oh, man, heavens. Dina Hinshaw, you should be just ashamed of yourself. So what they're doing is they're kind of declaring, like, it's amazing. Hey, pandemic, you're not a pandemic anymore. You're endemic. So we got to live with you.
Yeah, so they made sure they imported it and
Well,
didn't get rid of it properly, and then they're saying, oh, well, now we're going to have it forever. And it's like, okay, so you're on the bottom of the list then, because this is your fault that it's in here.
Yeah.
It certainly isn't mine. I haven't left the country.
Triage. People who are responsible, like anti-maskers or government people, for letting it in and allowing it to continue, they should be at the bottom of the list for triage. Not
I
like
gotta
Boris
get scissors.
Johnson, where he's... How many people died because he was on... Well, one, maybe. Because they had him on a ventilator. He should have been the last person, the very last person to be on a ventilator. So he survived. Now he's doing skunkies. What, have they got a fourth wave there now in Great Britain? United Kingdom? The United Kingdom is the official word for it. I think Boris Johnson was there to... This United, put in place by Vladimir Putin, our friend Vladdy. Hey Vladdy, if you're watching,
I hope your salad looks
try
better.
hacking this, you useless pupil. So yeah, Dina Hinshaw, I don't know what all they're doing. They are wrapping up, maybe in stages, contact tracing. They're looks as though they're just saying, okay, you die. No, one of the things that's going to be happening is, just judging from the southern United States, we've got vaccine hesitancy. That's vaccine resistance, okay? It's not hesitancy. Cut it with this stupid euphemism.
Call them anti-vaxxers.
Yeah.
I mean, you call the Christian groups that don't want to vax anti-vaxxers.
Yeah. I forgot. Vaccine hesitancy. Wow.
Yeah.
It's lying. So, yeah, I think they've realized in the United States, some of the Republicans, southern United States, hey, if it gets really out of hand, we're going to start losing voters.
Yeah, exactly. They're just going to die.
You people in the southern United States, you're tuning in, and you're right-wingers. The Republicans, doesn't matter if it's Trump, the populists, or the globalists, like Bush Jr. and Bush Sr. and stuff. They don't care about you at all. They never have. This goes back to Barry Goldwater, when he started the Southern Initiative amongst the Republicans. Didn't work in 1964, and then Nixon didn't care about you folks at all. He was just using you to get elected. Yeah, he did come from a poor background, but he was a mouthpiece for, he was a lawyer, as I recall. A crooked lawyer. He's a mouthpiece for big business idiots. Big business guys don't care a hoot. They'll come down there and put up some plant where they're paying non-union wage in a place like Bama, and they'll be exploiting you till the end of time. They'll be polluting your, you've got some beautiful landscapes down there in the south, not even that far south, West Virginia and stuff like that. Virginia, in the western part of Virginia, western part of North Carolina, northeastern part of Alabama. You got some wonderful landscapes there, and they don't care. They'll pollute it and then they'll run off someplace else. Run off to Brazil someplace. Pollute the stuff down there. They don't care about you. And that includes Trump. You think Trump's your boy? Trump doesn't care about you. He's a carpetbagger. He comes from New York. They all are carpetbaggers. They're basically all Yankees. And you trust them? What are you doing? So back to Dina Hinshaw. This has gone the wrong way. All these flunkies. Justin Trudeau. Jason Kenney. What's his name? Scott Moe in Saskatchewan. All these flunkies. They should be on the hook. Not just in civil court. For wrongful death. For all the people who have died in COVID. All of them in Canada. They should have, starting with Trudeau, should have shut down the borders. Every country in the world, not just China. Every country in the world should have shut off unnecessary travel to every other country in the world, not just China.
Well,
and shut this thing down at
well,
source in China.
Now it looks like it might be the best idea actually to just combine with the United States and form a bubble with many little bubbles.
That's what we should have done.
Yeah.
So then there wouldn't have been the problem at the Windsor-Detroit crossing.
Yeah.
There would have been crossings going up into Montreal, down into New York State, probably heading through, would it be Plattsburgh, New York, along Lake Champlain? And maybe some things going into New York, like around Messina and stuff like that.
We need to offer,
where there'd be some problems.
As the government needs to offer young people the opportunity to join the military just for free education and service along that field. So service with internal Canadian security for maintaining bubbles and stuff like that, and making sure people don't leave the hotels that they're isolating in. They need to be isolating there.
Real quarantines.
Yeah,
you want to travel internationally,
and,
you get quarantined for a minimum of 2 weeks.
And out of their pocket.
And you pay for it.
You pay for it. And
it's a class thing. The last time I was out of the country was 1991, almost exactly 30 years ago.
So
Pauline's not even sure if she's ever been out of the country.
There's a lot of talk about them not having enough jobs for young people now that are coming into the workforce. Well, the military should offer them a job, and it should be, this is, you're only going to be you get your education and you have to do this, serve your term within Canada, using that education.
And doing the security stuff,
yes,
like
doing
you're
the
saying.
Security stuff. Or else,
lockdowns, bubbles, security at the border.
If your marks are high enough and you have an interest, you can get trained as a nurse or a doctor or a health professional of some kind and serve that way. That's how it should be. We're hearing a lot about doctors and nurses overwhelmed and they're going to quit and this and that. Train some. Canadian government needs to train some. And the young
big
people
trouble
are
is, well, they could do that.
Yeah.
There'd be no guarantee. The federal government is not on the hook for health. It's a provincial government. But they could do something about training.
If they make it a military thing, then it would be.
Well, there you go. They could do some training and all this sort of stuff. It's just they wouldn't be able to guarantee hiring. You'd have to get idiots like Scott Moe and Doug Ford. Doug the Slug Ford.
If they declare the pandemic, the new Delta one or whatever, an emergency.
Which they should have done. I don't know if they ever did that.
Which they should have done. The pandemic in the first place.
Stupid idiots.
Well, they're doing this on purpose. They've imported it on purpose.
I can't argue against it because I cannot believe anyone, much less people who are in positions of responsibility, would be as dumb as you, Justin. Are you tuned in? Or Jason Kenney? Or Scott Moe? You guys are just droolingly dumb, or else you are corrupt and looking to kill people. Which is it? It's one or the other. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. I think you're just droolingly dumb. Pauline puts another interpretation on it, and I can't argue it against it. I cannot believe people would be as dumb as you. Jumping to the tune of the People's Republic of China. The reason why they unleashed, the one thing, they did unleash it on the world. Once they had it, that's a minimum setting for me. They wanted to spread it to the rest of the world. I'm not necessarily sure that they cultivated this stuff. They didn't manufacture it. There's no doubt about that, from what I can tell. It's not a... But I think there is a possibility they were just cultivating it. Letting it mutate for 17 years. Or whatever, since the SARS thing. I don't know if it'd even be derived from the SARS thing. But just letting it mutate and saying, when's a good time to lose? But once they had it, they're going, we're having real troubles negotiating with Trump on trade. And we're going to really show him. We're going to show the whole rest of the world. They're going to have something else to deal with other than trade. They're going to have to deal with this. They're going to get preoccupied with it. And the more I think about it, the more I think they unleashed it on themselves initially, hoping to spread it to the rest of the world.
I don't know. There's a lot of theories on that.
It's just, you look at the timing, and Trump was being hard buttocked with him about trade. And all of a sudden that was off the agenda. Him getting them to knuckle under. But it's bottom line. Once they had it, they wanted to spread it to the rest of the world. They got the WHO on side with them. The WHO's not in their pockets, in the Americans' pocket. But they basically got WHO via Gabriesus or whatever his name is.
The WHO is in China's pocket.
Well,
and
China's
United
not paying
States
for
pocketbook.
it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So, yeah, very good formulation. And the Americans should just shut the WHO down. Shut them up by shutting them down. I don't believe in censorship. They should be allowed to yip and yap, whatever they want, but not on American public funds. Canada would contribute some stuff, not with Canadian public funds. They should do it on their own, with this Gabriesus or whatever his name is, Tedros. If he wants to jibber and jabber, whatever, he wants to jibber and jabber, he's welcome to do it on his own coin, or on the Chinese coin, I suppose, too. But People's Republic of China. Don't run with that. Don't make a straw man out of me. You faux gauches out there. So yeah, they should be doing this in Alberta once they get the thing under control.
They won't get that.
Every time it starts looking as though the numbers are going down, they don't wait for it to get to the equivalent of zero. One epidemiologist is saying for Canada, that would be like having 15 cases in total. Not new cases a day, in total. That would mean Alberta would have 2 cases in total. Then you can declare a victory over COVID. Otherwise, you're just letting it spread. Mutate, develop new varieties, all this sort of stuff. Shame on you, Jason Kenney. And Deena Hinshaw, you know better. You've been trained. And you've been bought and sold by the political system. You are a flunky. You are what the commies used to call toadies. You're a toady of Jason Kenney. And he's a Dumbo. How can you do that, Dina Hinshaw? You know better. You're smarter than him. Presumably, you got some sort of medical degree. Now, a medical degree just is a glorified bachelor's, as far as I'm concerned. That's been my experience. If you got the equivalent of a GP, you're just a glorified bachelor's.
Yeah, I mean, they do, they count their training, their in-house training and stuff as time served
In the,
yeah, so it's a
yeah,
practical.
but everyone gets in-house training and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Well, anybody on the job, I mean,
Yeah.
their first few years of work that they do, they're still learning.
Exactly right. So what does the Globe and Mail, or someone writing in the Globe and Mail, say quite a while back? We overpay young workers, we underpay older workers, more experienced workers.
Yeah. Because they're still being trained.
They're younger.
Yeah.
They're still being
You have
trained.
to get some work experience.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's the big news over the last news cycle.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So that's the first press conference she had in a month or so, 4 weeks.
I can't really comment on that Thai papaya salad because I shouldn't have picked it up today. It's really past its point. Past its.
Maybe I shouldn't have it.
Well, you can if you want. I
But
just
what I
see
mean
I
is
didn't.
it's,
I left a lot of
yeah.
the stuff, right? Because
I mean, I don't care what it tastes like, but is it going to be unhealthy?
I don't feel sick.
Hmm.
I think it's fine. I don't know. I ate it.
Yeah, well, I've
I
got
just
to.
shouldn't have
Yeah,
picked it up.
I've just got a compromised immune system. I better watch out.
Well, do you want me to not feed it to you?
I'd better steer clear.
Okay.